Welcome back. Division 2 in football, as we know, carries extra weight this year, with teams relegated to Division 3 missing out on a place in the qualifying rounds of the All-Ireland Championship, unless, of course, they manage to make a provincial final. Down were already relegated before this weekend, and in Tullamore, Offaly hosted Cork, with the loser almost certain to join them.
Offaly manager John Mahon introduces 5 new faces after their loss to Roscommon last weekend, with Rory McNamee and Johnny Maloney both coming in to add further power to their attacking unit. There are a number of late changes to the Cork team, including the introduction of Owen McSweeney, Cathal O'Mahony and captain Brian Hurley to their forward line. After scoring 1-7 last week, Stephen Sherlock will again carry the bulk of their scoring threat. Well, away we go. And Cork immediately into possession. It's with John O'Rourke, the full forward. And this is a good build-up from Cork, and possibilities here perhaps for Colm O'Callaghan. Well, he opts to go with the fist. Goal was on. Cork playing into the breeze in this opening half, but they've started well. Here's a ball for Cathal O'Mahony to chase down in the corner. O'Mahony making good ground here, and now O'Mahony! That's a brilliant goal from Cathal O'Mahony. And a superb start for Cork. Well, he took on the responsibility, O'Mahony, went at a couple of challenges and then finishes with real purpose. Offaly now looking to grow themselves into this match. Here's Kieran Dolan on a foray up from corner back. Bill Carroll comes on the loop, and that looks like a good strike. It is from Bill Carroll. Nice point from Offaly. Hugely entertaining opening to this match. Here come Offaly once again with Rory McNamee. Off to Niall McNamee now, one of the stalwarts of this Offaly team, looking to work a yard to get a shot away, and he does. And that's a great score from Niall McNamee. Well, Offaly motoring nicely now. Fine score. Here come Cork, more measured build-up on this occasion. Out to this left-hand side. Here's John O'Rourke, swinging it over with that right boot. Well taken point from the full forward. Cork building from deep now with Sherlock, a long way from corner forward, but able to make ground here. He's carried this ball a long way, Stephen Sherlock. Well, Offaly backing off, and that allows the corner forward to get a shot away, and that's what he'll do when given space, Stephen Sherlock. Angle ball in this time. It's 2 against 1, but the one of Offaly is Niall McNamee, and he's won himself a penalty. Well, this could be what Offaly needs. 6 points down, approaching half-time. Kevin Flav could be in trouble here. Well, McNamee was outnumbered, but rose to claim possession and was hauled down. And it's a black card for Kevin Flav, so Cork down to 14. And a huge opportunity now for Offaly to cut the deficit. Anton Sullivan against Micheál Martin. It's good from Sullivan. Well converted penalty, and Offaly back in the match. Well, just what they needed before half-time, and they're back to within 3 points. O'Mahony now once more. Lovely cushion ball in as far as Sherlock. Difficult angle here, but he's floated that one up on the wind beautifully. That's a superb point from the St. Finbarr's man. Offaly now looking to close that deficit. That's a well-placed pass inside. As far as the run of Dylan Hyland, cuts in field, good run from Niall McNamee on the angle, and McNamee slots it over, better from Offaly. And McNamee's on form. John Mahon's team in possession again, looking to work yet another point here. Here's Sullivan. He's going to curl that one, and curl it inside the post too. Offaly with the momentum. Cork now with John O'Rourke. Shovels his way past a couple of challenges and puts Cork 3 points in front once again. Attacking now Offaly with Jordan Hayes. Has John O'Rourke for company. Might take on the shot here, but instead plays it off to the run of Rory McNamee, looking to curl this one over McNamee. Well, the crowd loved that, and why not? That's a really good point from Rory McNamee. Offaly with Keith O'Neill in possession now, going route one here. O'Neill, the chance has presented itself, and he's taken it with both hands. Keith O'Neill. That's a really good take from Jordan Hayes, heavily involved in this match. He sets Offaly on the attack once again. They've got their tails up now with Bill Carroll, another player that's been prominent thus far, and he's been allowed to run a long way with possession here, and Carroll will go for the shot, and he'll slot it over the bar. Cork in possession. They have to be patient now as they build up with their wing-back Matthew Taylor. Takes it forward, cuts past a challenge. Taylor still going. What a score this would be for Cork if he can find it. And Cork move one in front again. Matthew Taylor with the score. Offaly now searching for a point. They've got the crowd behind them now. Here's Sullivan once more. Goes at the challenge and thought about the shot. He's going to cut onto the left. Can he squeeze it in? He can, Anton Sullivan. Brilliant point. And you can see what it means. Offaly with a lot of players back inside their own 45. Cork have to be patient, trailing by a point. But here's a chance for Cian Kiley, and he's put it over. Cian Kiley, has he saved Cork's status? Well, they're back on level terms. He's come good. Now the ball can't go back to the goalkeeper here. He played the kick out to Jordan Hayes, and Paddy Dunnican can't touch possession. Well, he has, and that's going to be a free in according to Niall Cullen. And a chance for Cork now. Can they snatch it at the death? It's Stephen Sherlock with the free to put Cork in front. And Sherlock has done it. Cork lead by a point. 74 minutes gone. Well, Offaly need a goal in this attack. It's goal or nothing for their Division 2 status. It's lofted into the area. Can Cork survive? There's the full-time whistle. It's all over, and Cork have retained their Division 2 status. A hugely enthralling encounter. Offaly 120, Cork 121.
Offaly gave it absolutely everything. Your heart would go out to them because they are so young, you know that. But isn't it interesting, the scenes from Cork afterwards, how they celebrated staying in Division 2 and not dropping to Division 3? That tells its own story.
Well, that does. That's where they're at, and that was the sort of pressure they were under. And you know, in the immediate aftermath, when they celebrated, I'm sure relief was the principle. I was thinking, well, it's in terms of Division 2 and staying in it, but of course it's the Tailteann Cup escape, and I don't want to talk about the Tailteann Cup in the pejorative, if you like, but it was the great relief of not being part of that competition, you know, because that would have been a fair fall from grace for Cork footballers, and they've fallen a fair bit. So you have to give them their due. This was a big game for them, and they came up trumps. And of course, I'm with you also on the Offaly story. They brought through a lot of young players, and they were very unlucky, and just really unlucky at the very, very end. And we'll touch on that. Kieran will have a peep at that. A little bit of inexperience and naivety perhaps just caught them. But they gave it a good shot too to stay in the division. I think they always knew it was going to come down to a match like today. And Cork just that bit cuter and a little bit classier in some positions, or a little bit more polished, you'd have to say. And
of course, they had a great start, which makes such a difference, isn't it?
Very good start, and I suppose Cork do deserve a bit of credit, and they've got a bit of a kicking over the last couple of weeks, but they were just quick out of the blocks. I think John O'Rourke made a big difference, and they mixed up their game. They had a running game, but they were very direct at time. I thought Colin McCallan, he played kind of out around the middle as well. But you know, Cathal O'Mahony definitely makes a big difference to them, just going straight, going direct, stepping inside the sweeper on his left foot, back of the net, and that gave them a platform really going into the game. And as I said, they had support runners coming from deep, and Offaly probably a little bit open at the back at times, and that was possibly an area where they need to improve. I'd say, you know, if you reflect on it, they'll want to tighten up defensively. But again, Micheál Martin, it's quick ball out. It's very direct, moving it quickly. Ball comes out to John O'Rourke again, a direct ball into Brian Hurley. So, like, from a Cork perspective, looking at their forward line, I thought it definitely looked to have a little bit of hope going forward. Stephen Sherlock's been very good. Colin O'Mahony is there. John O'Rourke back. You know, there's been Brian Hurley. So I feel that their forwards are definitely. They've something to build on going forward, even though they've a lot of improving to do. But like Kevin said, Offaly deserved, like in the second half, like to be 5 points down, to come back, to go a point ahead. Niall McNamee was just outstanding, you know, 36 years of age, deserves massive credit. Anton Sullivan, I thought, was excellent in the corner. Roy McNamee was good. They got themselves back in a winning position and nearly dug it out. It would have been an absolute massive win for them, but just didn't do enough. And we knew that, you know, the draw was would have done Cork. They needed to probably win the game. And
there was that moment Kevin was referring to where you saw the little bit of inexperience coming into play.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, Joanne, I suppose, that they have. This is the game is drawn. It's a short kick out. I think, in fairness to Paddy Donegan, he knows that he can't touch the ball. He understands that the ball comes back, himself and Declan Hogan, he's nearly calling Declan Hogan to come back. It's going out over the line. It's right on the line, we reckon. I think it's just touching the line when we kind of looked at it. What does he do? Does he let it go for 45? Or he puts his foot on it, and putting a foot on it is a 13-yard free. It's over the bar. Cork are 1 point ahead instead of Offaly having possession going down the pitch. So again, it's just an unfortunate small margin mistake that can make the difference. Now, Offaly still would have had to go down and get a score.
Just to clarify, because it does look from that shot like the ball is all the way over the line, but you've looked
it. Can I make this very quick point that, you know, he will learn from that, and in time he will do what if scenarios in his head. If that was ever to happen again, of course he should have let it go out over the end line, so it'll be a 45.
He had the wherewithal to know that
he kind of knew what he wanted to do, but just the foot had to come out and touch it. But he should have let it go out for 45. He learned from that. That's the way it goes.
Absolutely so.